Hello. So this presentation is going to be the bigger picture is the impact of smart speakers on our society. And I asked, the presentation asks, how have voice-activated virtual helpers made society more dependent? And the answer to this is simply smart speakers are making our society more dependent as they reduce social interaction and they decrease physical activity. And this affects our society in a negative way because it's making us more dependent on the speakers themselves, whether it be an Amazon Alexa, Google Home, whatever you have in your house. Smart speakers are just making us more dependent on technology, and they're just pretty much running our brains in a certain way like that. Um, so the claim is the use of smart speakers negatively impacts our society, makes us more dependent, and the two key points that the presentation discussed is the limit on social interaction and the decrease of physical activity. So before we talk about these 2 points, let's discuss some general facts about smart speakers and different things like that. So actually 31% of households in the United States have smart speakers. And right here is a visual of the 4 different categories of smart speaker users. So we have light users, medium light users, medium heavy users, and heavy users. And we can see the categories on the left side here, which is music, weather, general questions, timer alarms, check the time, news, etc. These are all different things that smart speakers, you can use them for, different abilities that smart speakers have. And we can see, light users like myself, I do have a smart speaker. I can't say that. Typically light users don't use them as much, just use them specifically for music, just a few things. But as we continue, we can see that heavy users, medium users, they use them for a lot of different things, even games, jokes, sports updates, whatever it may be. You can just talk to your smart speaker. You can ask them anything you want, any questions about any of these topics. And smart speakers usually do know the answer. So first, I would actually like to go in. First, let's talk about the social aspect of smart speakers. So according to the stimuli, which I can't answer it. So smart speakers have limited our social interaction with others, and this does lead to a decrease in social skills, whether it be eye contact and speech. There's this video. Let's watch.
Alexa, pause my podcast. Alexa, set the temperature at home to 71 degrees. And turn on the lights.
Alexa, call Mike. Thanks, hon. I'm fun at work.
So this is actually an ad for an Amazon Alexa product, the Echo Dot, which throughout the video, you can see the man speaking to the Echo Dot, telling it different things to do, turning on the lights, basically controlling the household. But I want to let's focus rather on the social aspect of this ad. And basically we can see the man talking through his Echo to the wife. And while this isn't necessarily, a big aspect of the video, it's still showing all the capabilities the Alexa can actually do. It is limiting the interaction between the two. And ultimately, he is talking to a computer device rather than directly to his wife. And this does tend to limit, just like phone calls or text messaging, this does reduce our eye contact, our different speech skills, delivery, and how you actually express yourself, and different hand gestures. Basically all of those things, it definitely limits that with smart speakers. So let's also talk about the physical downsides with smart speakers. And overall, smart speakers can reduce our physical activity, as you can ask smart speakers to do whatever you may like. Simply just be turning on the lights or playing music, basically any features that people can just sit down and ask the smart speaker to do whatever they want them to do. And again, turning on lights is a big example. As a society, we do relinquish some of our own control and give it to the smart speakers in controlling our households. And David Crocker does say, What I worry about almost more than anything else is a certain kind of mental laziness and an unwillingness to engage with the difficult issues. It's somehow more pressing in a time where there are systems out there willing to make the decisions for you. And this is true all around with different smart speakers. They're ultimately making decisions for us. And this also leads to a segue in our future generations. With children all alike, children are growing up with these smart speakers and they're building almost a certain need and desire for these different features, and it's taking over their lives overall. So when children, when they grow up, they're ultimately going to feel more dependent on the different technology that they grew up with. As 31% of households in the United States do already have smart speakers, technology is just going to keep growing and growing. And we can also take a look at this through an economic standpoint. Just recently, this past weekend was actually Black Friday. And if you load into Amazon, you can actually see right there on the front page are different Echo devices, different Amazon smart speakers that they're selling for only $50. I mean, these smart speakers are very easily accessible. And it's just overall, it's negative for our society because of physical reducing of physical activity and social skills. And it's just basically setting up the future of our generation overall to rely on these things since they're so easily accessible. Now, referring to the Amazon Alexa video, some people may say that it is actually safer to communicate through a smart speaker rather than texting and driving, as that is the cause for many different accidents and many different incidents in today's time. Many people die due to texting and driving and car accidents in general. But and that leads to the claim that smart speakers possibly do reduce car accidents. Now, this is just false, because when driving, anything can cause distraction. And especially speaking to a smart speaker, you not only does it cause distraction, but you also it messes up basically your driving skills and what you're currently trying to, where you're trying to go, because you're focused on that specific thing rather than driving. And so yeah, just overall, it's still a distraction, and it doesn't take away the fact that, whether it be safer than texting and driving or safer than phone calls, you're still being distracted on the road. And that's referring specifically to the stimuli that was on the presentation earlier. So thank you. Do you have any questions?
I do have two questions for you.
Okay.
Let's see. First question. How valid and reliable were the sources that you use, and how do you know?
The stimuli provided was definitely very reliable. That's what I built most of the foundation of it on, because and I do know that it was reliable because it came directly from Amazon themselves, came from their YouTube site. I also did use, during my research, I did use different types of sources. I tried to show variety in what I was using. I did share some articles. I did share some academic journals. That was actually one of the quotes that I did use in the presentation, was a conversation with David Crocker, which was overall just about technology in general, mental laziness, and it even went into different things about the brain. So I tried to really use different types of sources and use different things I can gain information from, not just the same sources that were either the negatives of smart speakers. Yeah.
Okay. Let's think. How about, what advice would you have for other researchers that want to talk about this particular topic?
I would definitely say make sure you research deeply into the topic when it comes to not necessarily looking at just the negatives, but also being able to show just not only the general facts of smart speakers, but generally just show the negatives and positives. Because at the end of the day, if you are just researching, and if your topic is the negatives of smart speakers, like mine is on society and how people become more dependent on them, then if you're just searching for just that question, I feel like your argument is way less reliable, because you're not necessarily bringing up the other side. And I think it is important. That's why I think it's important to put as much effort into your counter argument, and to make sure, because that not only strengthens your own argument, but it also, allows the audience, allows the readers, whatever it may be, to really truly grasp the topic and what, both sides of the situation are. So.
All right.